Okay, so it's, I think, pretty broadly known that there was an effort to assassinate President Trump yesterday evening. It seems we're within a matter of inches from a second civil war in this country, and I don't say that lightly. By God's grace, the man's life was preserved. If he's not a believer in God, I would say he is now, coming that close to death. So let's hope we see that happening, where he would become a disciple of Christ and follow him. But we're living in a world of great violence. That's just one example of the violence that men will do. We have at the moment the United Kingdom giving weapons to the Ukraine to fire directly into Russia. We have the US this past week promising to send F-15 fighters and boatloads of money to the Ukraine so they can continue that war there. Why is all of this going on? What is behind all of this? Well, I think we have to, first of all, confront the fact that godless men love war. They love strife. They love violence in an effort to try to take and hold of and grab power wherever it might be, wherever they are in the world. They will use violence to try to take a hold of power. It's a sad situation that we're in, but everyone, secular, all non-believers, and those who are given over to man-made religions are ready to start wars and take lives at the drop of a hat. Now, the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is the solution to this wickedness? We know what it is not. It's not an economic problem that we face. So, new economic strategies or programs, shoring up the free market or the economy, is not going to help things. It's not an educational problem that we have in this country. It's not a matter of better educating our young people. And it's not a matter of diversity. It's not a matter of equity, where everybody gets a fair share of all the material possessions in this country. It's not that there's discrimination. It's not that there's an inclusiveness or reparations is going to fix this country. And it's not a matter of getting back to the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or the Founding Fathers. That's not going to fix the problem in this country. And it's not a matter of fighting fire with fire. When people do violence, they ask that we in turn do violence to them. It's not going to fix this problem. But also, everybody pretending to agree to disagree is also not going to fix the problem in this country. God has a 1,263-step program to fix this country. 1,263 times in Scripture it says, Jesus. 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 1,263 times in Scripture it says the Christ. There is the solution to the problem in this country. And there is not another one. It's Christ, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the way, the truth, and the life, Jesus Christ. Jesus the Christ, the Prince of Peace. If we want peace in this country, there only is one Prince of Peace, and it's Jesus Christ. I remember seeing a bumper sticker, and I can't remember why it stuck with me, but it did. And it said this: no Jesus, no peace. No Jesus, no peace. No Jesus, no peace. No Jesus, and no peace. There is no other path to unity in this country. There's no other way to bring man and man together. There's no hope of building a bridge over the divide. There's no calming the chaos we're seeing going on around us, except for Jesus Christ. We need to stop seeing the shooters as the problem in this country and realize it's the power behind the shooters in this country that we're fighting here. We're in a spiritual warfare. Our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and powers of darkness in the heavenly realms. So we have to realize that our fight is not with these people. It's with the powers that are behind them. The darkness that is trying to create chaos is our enemy. The Satan, the devil, however you want to describe him. He's what we're up against. And the only weapon we have to defeat evil in this country is the gospel of Jesus Christ. We have to realize this as well. People around us are afraid at the moment. People around us are volatile. People around us could panic and stampede at any moment. And they listen, they need to be calmed down. They need peace in the midst of the chaos. And the only one that will bring this peace is Jesus Christ. Now, who are the ministers of this peace? Who are those that are to calm people down? Who are those who are to bring peace in the midst of the chaos? Listen, it's you. It's me. It's us, Christians. We are the ones who make and maintain peace. We spread the gospel of peace into the lives of those around us. We do it. I grew up in a rough area. It was rough. I ran with a bunch of bad, rough people, and I can't go into the details. But we even 14, 15-year-olds, we were up to all kinds of chaos. Just crazy. Things would get to the point where it got so crazy that you thought, how's this going to stop? And you would look for some adults to come into the room and put an end to it. When the adults came into the room, then all of the kids stopped acting up. Disciples of Christ are the peacemaker in this world. In the midst of a national crisis, when everybody is acting like children, listen, we are the adults in the room. We are. In this country at the moment, We're the adults that everyone is hoping will show up. It's you. It's us. We're the peacemakers versus the chaos makers. We are those who stop the anarchy, who stop the drama, who bring people to their senses. It's us. Well, I don't feel like I'm the adult in the room. Well, you are. And that's evidence that you are. It's evident if you think, well, I'm not the one to try to give people directions. Now, you are. Because at least you're looking at yourself and examining yourself and considering yourself and thinking about your weaknesses. And everybody else at the moment should be doing the same. Well, it's a tough job to do. Jesus never promised us easy. He never said, take up your easy and follow me. We're talking about life and death here. We're talking about peace versus anarchy. We're talking about holding together this country. That's the job we have together. It's a life and death situation. This is jugular. We're not trying to build up our church. We're not trying to get people to come to our meeting and give us money so that we can have more people come and somehow try to or build a building and get more significant in this town. We're holding back destruction. That's your job. That's my job. That's our job together. This is huge. Remember who we are. How do we bring peace into this chaos? Well, what we're not to do, we're not to be talking about Donald Trump. He's the last person we should be talking about. And we're not to be talking about Joe Biden. Not worth it. Doesn't help. We're not to be talking about anything else but God in Jesus Christ. That's what we're to be talking about. There's where the solutions lie. That's who we should be talking about in the middle of this. You don't put a fire out by putting wood on it. I'm an idiot, but even I know that. And the last thing you do is try to put it out with gas. It's not gonna make it go away. It'll only make it worse. Someone says, well, I hate the chaos and I hate the people that create it. That second phrase is a very dangerous phrase. I hate the people who create it. Because it's easy to hate people. Very easy to hate people. It's easy to go to war with them. And why shouldn't we do that? Maybe that's what they want. Have we considered that? That maybe that's what the architects of anarchy want? That we're endlessly fighting? That we're endlessly talking about Trump and Biden and the world melting down and who's doing this to who and have us to fight it and go to war together? Maybe that's what they want. So maybe there's one principle in war. I think it was Sun Tzu that said it. Never do what your enemy wants you to do. Why not? Because they're your enemy. He doesn't have, or they don't have your best intentions at heart. So never do what they want you to do. If they want us to hate people, well, we're not going to hate people. They want us to go to war with people, we're not going to war. They want us to be passive and sit back and let them roll over the top of us. Well, we're not going to do that either. Because we're never going to do what our enemy wants us to do. Remember, we're in a fight here, as we mentioned, but it's not with flesh and blood. It's with the principalities and powers of darkness in the heavenly realms. But we're to be peacemakers in the midst of this, opposed to chaos makers. And remember what Jesus did. In the midst of the chaos of the cross, the wickedness and the evil and the violence of the cross, he said this, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. And I think if we chew that over, I think what he's saying here is, and the people around us who are unbelievers, be they secular or religious, are in the same boat here. Those who are architects of violence, those that are baying for blood, listen, they don't know what they're doing in life. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what life is about. They don't know who they are. They don't know why they're here. They don't know where they're going. They don't know the ultimate results of what they're doing. Their lives are empty, they're miserable, they're loveless, they're embittered, and they're sad. But that could be you and I. That could be me. So what we need to do, and I think what Jesus is doing on the cross, is he's pitying them. He's pitying them. Pitiful lives. Does that mean they're not going to be judged? That's another reason to pity them. It's because judgment's coming. God is bringing it. Not only in this world, this great judgment to come, but on the earth. He's burying them day to day. So they should be pitied. Because they don't know what they're doing. But that's not you. That's not me. That's not us. You know who you are. We know who we are. And we know where we're going. And we know why we're here on the earth. And we know that we're children of God. And we're blessed in the midst of it. Someone says this, well, I'm kind of afraid at the moment. See, when I heard that news, that there was a shooting in Pennsylvania, my whole body just rippled with the news. Fear? Oh, fear's real. So if you're feeling a bit afraid, that's okay. The first people that we should be bringing peace to is one another in this. How do we do that? Well, we start giving this peace to one another. If you're afraid, start preaching the gospel to your brothers and sisters. Start talking about Jesus because everybody's afraid. But to one another, those who are welcoming the message, let us talk about God. Let's speak about, as was mentioned today in our prayers, He's in control. That Christ is risen, that everything is going to be fine, regardless of how it looks. Let's speak to each other about that. And then we'll start sharing that good news with others. See, it's the gospel of Christ that settles other people down. It brings about order, it brings about unity, it brings about a togetherness, it takes away all of our fears, and it brings peace. And you are a minister of peace. In fact, Jesus said that, do you remember? Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers. That means that fruitful, those who have vitality, those who have strength, those who are unified as a person, those who are flourishing individuals. It's not talking about materials and all that nonsense. Those who are strong in the midst of chaos are those who are peacemakers, those who are bringing peace into the lives of others. And that's us. That's you and I. So let's encourage one another. And let's remember, there's going to be loads of people around you and I in the next few months, coming up to the end of this year, who are terrified, who are afraid, who are at their wits' end because they're seeing everything else falling apart around them. We need to talk to them about Christ. We need to reach out to them with Jesus. We need to ask them questions like, what do you think God's doing here? Do you think someone's other is in control than man? This is an opportunity. Opportunity knocks for the gospel of Christ. Now, but let's start with each other and move outwards. And don't forget this. And I know you're all excited about this. As fly fishermen, I'm sure you all know that it's hopper season. The hoppers have started to arrive. And I know you're excited as I'm excited. Grasshoppers, that thing you've been waiting for all these months. I saw little baby ones this morning. I've seen large ones. I'm putting a grasshopper on and I'm getting bites on top of the water already at the moment. I can't describe the excitement that I have. And I'm sure it's probably overflowing to you as well. Because you've got your nymphs, you've got your streamers, you've got your dry flies, but at the top of the pinnacle of excitement in fly fishing is your hopper. Why? Because hoppers are like crack cocaine to the trout. They love them. They will, just as you all know, fish are all swimming upstream, right? They tend not to swim downstream because they're picking up whatever's coming down towards them in the stream, as you know, right? So a trout will go downstream to pick up a hopper. He's so excited about it. And when they hit them, they, what we call, smash them, which means they'll even come out of the water to grab it and hit it like, one of those, Staffordshire Bull Terriers or Pit Bulls. And it's great. It's great. So don't forget that. Why do I tell you that? Because see, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of a world of people trying to grab power, people who are given over to evil and violence and wickedness and trying to get us to get involved in these things. In the midst of that, we can forget to enjoy the blessings that God has given us. We can be so busy on the internet, watching CNN, listening to this guy talking, that guy talking, worried about this, terrified about that, that we forget to enjoy the good things that God has given us. The blessings, the everyday good things that God gives us. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. As this country around us melts down, I'm going fishing because it's hopper season. And it's not going to get in the way of my enjoyment of God's good creation. And you should do the same. Don't forget, take the family out for a meal. If you like to go to a restaurant and enjoy a good meal just because you get the family together, don't let this nonsense distract you. Go do that. If you like to spend time with the grandchildren, if you've got grandchildren, go spend time with the grandchildren. Take them out and spoil them. Buy them ice cream. Do whatever it is that is good and given to us from God. Do it. Don't let this nonsense distract you, whatever it might be. If you're into prospecting for gold, if you like to do martial arts, if you like to do acting, and I don't like acting, but some people do it. Do it. Make up your own play in the midst of this, because we are the peacemakers and we are blessed. And we're blessed because in the middle of all of this, we are called children of God. And children of God can rejoice in the midst of chaos. We're blessed in the midst of cursing, and it all flows to us through Jesus Christ. Sons of God means that we bear the image of Jesus. That's us. We're the shining light in the darkness, church. That's us. And it doesn't matter how many are here or how often how many are here. We have to grow up and stop thinking about numbers. We are the light of the world, the children of God. Have you ever lit a candle in your house when it's pitch dark and seen how it illuminates everything? One little candle? We've got dozens of them here. That's who we are. We bring order into the chaos. We make peace instead of war. We're the adults in the room at the moment. We got to calm down all of these kids. That's who we are. The son, what's good about being a child of God? Well, you're part of the family. You get the inheritance. And in the end, it tells us here, who's going to call us sons of God? It's going to be the Father himself on the great day of judgment. When we stand before that throne, he's going to say to us, or he's going to say to every power in the universe, he's going to say, they belong to me. They're mine. Bring them in. Why? Because of the grace that comes through Jesus Christ. And because through his power we're peacemakers. We're like our Father in heaven. Let me wrap it up here. The world's in chaos. But this is a spiritual battle. Our enemies are not physical, they're spiritual. The supper brings us back to the solution, and that solution is Jesus Christ. No Jesus, no peace. No Jesus, no peace. And when it comes down to this, we're going to be peacemakers because we take this supper in remembrance of him until he comes. Bow with me, please.